In this video today, I'm going to be 100%ing Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, a game which released earlier this month. This game peaked at 104,000 concurrent players on Steam alone, and that's crazy. And yet somehow there's an achievement with a 0.2% completion rate. To put that into perspective, that's only 208 players that have obtained it. But why is this the case, you may be thinking? It's because you need to collect 41 art pieces, 11 portraits, 20 ship models, 9 paintings, 18 swords, and 12 pistols. All of that for one achievement. If you want to see me get more achievements like this, make sure to like and subscribe. I promise you're going to want to stick around to the end to see how I get this. The game starts in Cape Bonavista in June of 1715, and we're just thrown straight into it, bruh. Edward Kenway and his crew are getting attacked immediately. We catch a glimpse of the ship attacking us, and the way the assassin and the ship come out the smoke here is way too cold. We get control over Edward Kenway right here, and the first thing I'm thinking is, damn, this game looks sick. As someone that played the original like 3 or 4 years ago, man, I cannot tell you how good this looks. I think one thing that also amazes me about Black Flag, both in the original and in the remake, is the ship controls. They managed to make naval combat just so easy and fluid, and it really stood the test of time. I haven't seen another game that's come out with controls like it. After fighting these ships though for long enough, the assassin manages to jump aboard our ship, and he murders the captain straight away. Edward's just in shock. Well, that didn't last for long. There's quite a few of these flashbacks throughout the game where we get to see Edward and his wife Caroline. Pretty much, Edward just wants as much money as he can to live a better life, which is why he even went out to the sea and started privateering. Edward's just trying to get to that paper, bro. We can all relate. I will say though, Edward is kind of L husband because he did promise her 2 years. Edward locked back in and realized he was at the bottom of the ocean. He manages to swim his way up and find his way back to the shore, but he is not alone as that same assassin washes up next to him. And look at this guy Edward, bro. The guy offered him money to build a ship, and this guy just went to steal the money off of him. I don't even blame the assassin right here for turning and trying to shoot him, bro. Edward deserved it. We then have to chase the assassin through the woods. This is literally just a tutorial for movement in this game. I climbed up to my first synchronization point right here and just listened to this music. That's so freaking tough. That nostalgia's hitting for me, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if this is because I've played the game before, but this is just the most bait looking boss fight arena I've ever seen. This then introduces us to the new combat system in the game, and let me tell you, this is an improvement across the board. We now have the ability to parry, and we can parry any blue attack and then get a takedown or a high damage hit. However, red attacks are unblockable and have to be dodged. Obviously, this isn't a Souls game, so the boss is just light work. After looting his body, we find a letter which says we need to go to Havana to meet with Governor Torres, as we have some information to give him. Conveniently though, this guy doesn't know our face and will only recognize us by our fit. So we just stole this guy's whole identity. But now we're going to get off the island and we see a merchant being terrorized on the shore. Wiping out the guards is light work, and we find out the merchant's name is Steed Bonnet. Steed also wants to go the same way as us to Havana, so it works out for us. I got on the ship quick time, but this fat ass Bonnet was taking so damn long, bro. Hurry up! We sail out from the cove and we get this cutscene with Bonnet where he's admiring us for being free. And then we get this sick cut to Havana with the title drop. Now we're gonna do this boring ass follow Bonnet mission. I will say my one gripe with the game is these follow missions. It's kind of just boring. Sometimes you get like information drops during these, but a lot of the time it's like I wish they weren't there. But this time round there's a function in the game that just lets you automatically follow them, which is obviously used in other games as well. We do take a stop though to buy a weapon, our first of 18 swords that we need. When we arrive at the bar with Bonnet, we accidentally get recognized by some other pirates, so we just gotta tee up and beat all their asses. For anyone that plays the game after this, whenever you're doing hand-to-hand combat, you can just sweep the enemies and then just do takedowns on them and just beat them really easily. The Spanish guards then pull up on us and we have to run away from them. Once we become anonymous again, we get our first achievement for getting a tour of Havana. When we link back up with Bonnet, we found out that he's been beat up. But not only that, the guards stole his sugar and the loot we got of Duncan Welpole's body. So we need to go take it back, and it's being stored in this big fort right here. And for some reason I thought I could just walk through the front door. You can see how that went. After resetting the situation and then going the intended route, I stole the key straight out this guy's pocket. I don't know how he didn't know it was gone. I managed to get my loot back, but I had to leave Bonnet's sugar. Didn't have enough hands for that, bro. We actually tell Bonnet that we can't get it back for him, and he's a G about it, bro. He ain't even worried. We even tell him that our real name is Edward Kenway. Now that all that's over, we can actually actually go and head to meet Governor Torres now. On our way to meet him though, we actually meet Julian Ducasse and Woods Rogers. They give us access to pistols, which I'll say again, this is probably some of the best gunplay I've seen in the game. And then also the classic, we get the wrist blades. We finally get to see Governor Torres here, and he tells us he's hunting for a place from our precursors called the Observatory. And we are told about a man called Roberts who is supposedly a sage, and one hasn't appeared in the past 45 years. Apparently Governor Torres has him in his possession. On our way to actually go meet the sage, this guy Bonnet could not keep his mouth quiet and starts talking about some Edward. Bro, who is Edward, man? This guy's snitching on me in front of Woods Rogers, bro. He's trying to sell me. Thankfully, Edward clutched up and he pulled like a reverse tactic and told him that Edward is the fake name. We see this so-called sage and we hear that apparently you need his blood to enter the observatory. However, Torres still doesn't know the location and still needs that from the sage. So we need to escort him back to the prison as he won't give up the information. But our way back isn't a quiet one because the assassins jump these guards. Not gonna lie to you, this combat does take a bit of getting used to. I was kind of choking the parries here. Like at this point, you can't really tell whose side Roberts is on because the Templars are the ones that have him in captivity right now. But then he just kills an assassin right here. He starts running, so we have to catch him. Eventually ends up cornering himself for this gate. But then look what happened. He tried to fight me, so he got parried and then DDT'd, bro. What's this guy doing? This is also kind of the beginning where Edward starts getting obsessed with the observatory. He starts to believe that this is his best path to getting rich. So he, having no loyalty to Torres, decides to then go after the sage himself. Thank God for double assassinate, bro. The last AC game I played was Origins and you can only single assassinate in that game. When we get to the cell where Roberts is being held at, we see a bunch of dead bodies. After we investigate a little, we end up getting jumped by Torres and his men. I'm guessing they figured out we weren't really well, Paul. Torres then sends us on a ship out of Havana. Luckily we link up with this guy right here who also wants to escape. There is obviously guards down here, but once we deal with them we can get all our gear back. Our goal here is to steal a brig, but then we also need a free crewmate for our ship, right? Because we can't just pilot it ourselves. Fortunately for us though, all over these ships are other captured prisoners. After we do free all of them, we can then finally board our ship. Clearly though, the environment does not want us to win as it starts storming really badly. There's huge ass rogue waves and some evil water torpedoes. Eventually though, we managed to make it out and survive this storm. We are then properly introduced to the character that was locked up with us, and his name's Adewale. Adewale's a goat, bro. This guy's sick. Edward also chooses to keep this ship and decides to head for Nassau, and we get the achievement for being the captain of a ship now. The game then takes us to Abaco Island, and it basically forms the tutorial for like the open world part of the game. We learn about chests hidden on islands and then also all the creatures that are there too. For example, like these ocelots right here, where you can get an achievement for parrying 2 of them. You can just glick the creatures down, it's so free. But the main reason for hunting these animals is to get their materials, so then you can upgrade your gear. Like right here where I craft another pistol holster to get an achievement. After that, we actually get to head for Nassau. This is where we're introduced to some of the main characters for the game, being Ed Thatch, Ben Hornigold, and James Kidd. After that cutscene though, I did another one of the open world's collectibles, which is these shanties. You pretty much walk up to them and then they like run away from you and you have to do these like parkour routes. But the shanties you unlock can then be sang on the ship, and I'm telling you, there's some bangers out there. We then ask Hornigold if he knows anything about the observatory, and it's actually not him that answers us, it turns out to be James Kidd. They pretty much all dismiss it as a fairy tale and say it's just a myth. The tutorial is still not done, guys. I'm like well over like 4 hours into the game at this point, I think, and it's still going. This time they're teaching us not only naval combat, but then also boarding ships. You pretty much board ships to get loot to then upgrade your own ship. And then you get this really stupid scene between Hornigold and this Spanish guy, bro. Just watch this.
Anyone speak English? English?
Little bit.
Tell your friends we're stealing your goods, and we won't hurt nobody if everyone stays as still as a sandbar. You got that?
Please to repeat.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
After this, on the next mission, I ended up getting some really weird bug. The mission starts out with the fact that we hear James Kidd is planning on raiding a plantation, and then we have to like tail this officer. I'm not really sure why. I think we need to find out where the plantation is, I guess. But when I actually got in my boat to follow him, the boat wasn't moving. And you can see right there, there's 2 guards in the water. Like, what is going on here? And I was like, cool, maybe it's just bugged out. So look, I let them swim back. The ship still didn't move though. Don't ask me why. I swam over there and just executed everyone. I really don't know what this bug is, but I fixed it by just saving and reloading. I really do wonder wonder what caused this, but what's supposed to happen is when you get to your ship, their ship's supposed to already be out in the water, but it was just still there. But we finally made it to the warehouse in the end, and I'll explain how they work. In short, you basically just need to find an officer that has a key. They'll have like kind of like interesting details to them sometimes, but you get the key and then you just open the door and that's it. These are very important though to that achievement that I mentioned at the start. These have 9 different artworks, so you need to do all of these in the game. Technically, I think you only need to do 6, but the average player will just get the artworks all by doing this. Pretty much, Nassau is supposed to be like a pirate haven, and Thatch wants to build it up and improve the defenses. So he proposes that we go and capture a galleon. For those who don't know, a galleon is like a huge ship. While we tail the galleon, a man called Charles Vane appears. He does just get completely blitzed, but I promise you want to remember this name. We unlock a secondary firing mode for our cannons, the flame shot here, and there is an achievement for unlocking one of these. Turns out the man piloting the ship is none other than Julian Ducasse from the very start of the game. The galleon docks at the Great Anagua, and we are quested with assassinating Julian Ducasse and stealing that galleon. I do have a question though right here for anyone else that did play the game. Does anyone else remember actually coming through this mansion? I'm like 90% sure they changed this sequence because I never remember going in here. Here's also one of the portraits that I'm going to need for that achievement. And once again, I don't remember coming up here in the original. I'm like 90% sure where you can see all those buildings on the left, that's where you came from, but maybe I'm tripping. I will say if this is the case and I'm right, it does just make this section like almost way too easy. Because there's obviously no guards in the water, you can just swim straight to the ship. And then on top of that, why is there only 2 guards on the ship? Like this section is so free for no reason. It's kind of ironic that we killed Ducasse with the blades that he gives us too. But with that, not only do we claim the galleon, but we also claim the cove. We get awoken by Kid right here, and he takes us to some ancient stones. This is just a whole other collectible thing where we have to solve these puzzles to then get a Mayan stone. And then we also get to see the Templar armor, which requires us to collect 4 keys from Templars. This island becomes home base to us, and you can spend money to upgrade it. The upgrades unlock items, and some of them improve the amount of money the hideout produces. This unlocks another story achievement for us. The game pretty much like fully opens up to us now where we can just go and do whatever we want. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm a side quest bandit. I'll go and do like everything across the map before continuing the story. So I did exactly that and started the quest to get one of the new officers for the ship. This quest was for a man called the Padre, who's a man of God. He used to be a master at arms, but now's retired. He has like this little village and he asked us to like do some quests for him. On this same island, I managed to get every single collectible for another achievement here. But back to the quest, he basically says that he has problems with Ducasse's men and wants us to get rid of what's left of them. So we head out, but when we get to where they're staying at, it turns out they've actually gone to the Padre's island. And I mean, you can just see the state of the island, man. Look what they did, bro. This is not fair. He takes us up on our offer and ends up joining the crew. The officers are unique in the fact that they unlock like unique abilities for the Jackdaw. The Padre unlocks the Ram Dash, which as the name applies is a high damage ram. Another thing to the open world is these fortresses. You first have to destroy all the outer defenses, and then you have to reduce the fort's morale by just murdering people, to then bust down this big ass door and execute the fort commander. What does this do, you might be thinking? It unlocks full visibility in that section on the map. We actually do need to do all of these for an achievement. I just went to some random ass island and unlocked this chest, and apparently it's a smuggler's chest. If you can't tell, I really don't know what makes it a smuggler's chest, but I'll take the achievement. Lucy Baldwin is another one of the officers we have to get right here. Her quest to unlock her is also very simple. You just break onto the ship and then open her cell. After that, I also headed back to Havana right here. I was after the Templar keys, and I will say my biggest disappointment with them is the fact that there's only one achievement for just obtaining one. The first one I got was along Rona's questline here. These questlines are pretty whatever, to be honest. She's basically beefing this guy called Hilary Flint, if you can believe that name. And we have to do various things for her, like destroying these gunpowder barrels. And then it all ends with us killing this guy on the docks. But after that, we get our key, and we get the achievement for it. Oh my days. I went and bought one of the toughest fits of all time. Look at this. Look at this. And then like, what is this? What is going on my screen right now? Yo, what is this glitch? Like, yo, I'm stuck. Oh, no, I'm not. Moving on from that, man, I went and saw these guys getting executed, and I stepped in and saved them. Free achievement, yeah. And then I was just doing open world shenanigans, yeah, and look at the song I unlocked, bro. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh my days, is a banger. Wait till you guys hear it. Oh yeah, and then I dodged this ball for another achievement. Also rammed the ramming brick for another Mickey Mouse achievement. Oh look, I'm gonna let you guys listen to greatness right here. Yo, I'm gonna start crying. But moving on, another achievement I got here for 3 perfect braces, nice and easy. And then right here there was a buried treasure. There's maps all across the game that you can find that lead you to these. But this one got me one of the ultimate plans, and I think you need 11 of these for an achievement. The next major story quest has us going to Tulum to find James Kidd, but the island's being heavily guarded by Spanish people. Turns out the assassins are also on this island too. There she's murked this guy off right in front of my eyes. We find James Kidd here, but the assassins start pressing us. They want to know if we saw the man called the Sage and if we could identify him. So we have to follow Kidd into this tomb, and then look, they say the thing. Assassin's Creed. This whole area just feels so Uncharted-esque. We have to do this stupid rotating puzzle block colors, red, green, I don't even know, bro. And then this is where it gets scary, yo. That's actually the Sage, and this thing is ancient. Who is he? When we emerge though, the Templars have found out where we are. And not only are they executing the assassins, but they've also captured our crew. New item unlocked right here, the blowpipe. We can now put enemies to sleep from afar. Not bad. Freeing everyone's pretty easy, and it's also pretty cool to see, like, in the background that the assassins are also taking out people for us. After that, we get this stupid ass cutscene with Kenway, bro. This guy is such an idiot. And then someone's got to explain what is going on in this cutscene, and why is that assassin there? Yo, what the frick is that guy doing in Kid's face, bro? Move! Bro, move! Why just walk through him? I know, we're standing in. What is that, bro? While Kidd is leading us to some special door, he drops game on us about the fact that the assassins and Templars have been at war for thousands of years. Those stones that I mentioned earlier that we get from the puzzles allow us to unlock this door, but we need way more than this. After this, I went straight back to doing side quest stuff, and then while I was swimming here, I managed to get another achievement, and you can just see my reaction. Nice! Ed the Diver! Oh crap. What the? This game's a horror game, bro. It's scary. But back to the main story. Guess who we're introduced to right here? You remember that name I told you about? Charles Vane and Jack Rackham. They tell us that Governor Torres is hiding out at a fort. So what do? We go and raid that fort. Obviously, Edward is still hunting for the Observatory, and he knows that he needs Roberts, and it turns out a slave trader called Lawrence Prince has him. So Edward's gonna use Torres to find Prince, and then hopefully get Roberts. When we talk to Ade though, he warns Edward that he's basically losing his mind over this. And then he drops the bomb on us the Kidd's here, probably to kill Roberts. We managed to join up with Kidd and then listen in on Torres's and Prince's conversation. For some reason though, the deal blows up. Turns out Prince knew that he was being followed the whole time. I'm not gonna lie to you, look at how badly we were hiding, bruh. Even we can see the characters. We have to murder all the guards and Kidd helps us out. But then right when everyone dies, he drops a smoke bomb and runs off on us. But Edward's got that tech man. Us. Burns Kidd's ass up, bro, and catches up with him. Kidd crashes out on us because apparently it's our fault that his kill got away, bro. He was selling us too, bro. I went and did some side quests and got this achievement for eating 20 food items, sure I guess. When we link back up with Kidd, we get the craziest lore drop of this game. Yo, that's not a man! Man, that switch up is crazy, bro. You gotta watch out these days, bro. It's crazy. What the hell is this voice line? We have to sabotage all the alarm bells on this farm. There's loads of guards around, and for some reason, Kidd is not helping us at all. Kidd finally does something for us. It's pretty useful to be fair. She gets us inside these gates by baiting these guys. This is what men get for helping women, bro. They get killed. Assassinating Lauren Prince is light work after this. After we do some oral farming, it turns out that Kidd's been captured by none other than Roberts. Kidd breaks free and Roberts shoots his bell, alerting us to everyone. We have to go back to Huss Valley. But let me just say, some of the running parkour choreographies in this game are so cool. Like when everything's just laid out perfectly deliberately, it just flows so damn well. Just watch it. When we catch back up with Kidd, turns out Kidd's name isn't Kidd. It's Mary Reed. I actually went back to the farm deliberately to get this achievement of killing a guard when he's ringing a bell. I managed to get the Master Assassin outfit from doing a side quest. This is probably the #1 outfit in the game, and I ran this for literally the rest of the game. We then see Thatch, Vane and Hornigold arguing about the king's pardon. When we talk to Hornigold though, he begins to complain about the fact that Nassau is riddled with sickness. Although it is a pirate's paradise, it's just filled with bums and disease basically. But we need to get some medicine off a boat that's sunk. But firstly, we need a diving bell to even get underwater. So Ade tells us that there's pirates on the south that have a bell. I just stole the whole jip, bro. Just murdered them all and took it. We then have to head out to sea to link up with Thatch to find out about the shipwrecks. But when we do meet him, look at who we find. It's the goat, bro. Bonnet has made it onto the ship. After that though, we head straight into the water using the diving bell. The main things that are down here are these underwater chests, and we need to collect all of them in every single shipwreck to get an achievement. We actually do find the medicine, but as you can tell, it looks pretty cooked. Yo, we got the NBA youngboy shark over here, bro, just eating people. And let me tell you now, this shark is not scary at all, bro. When it aggroes to you, all you have to do is press B, dodge it, easy. When we return to the surface and tell Blackbeard that the medicine is cooked, he basically tells us that he's going to use violence to get it, and that he's willing to become the devil. We then find Hornigold out on the sea, and his ship has been badly damaged. He got attacked because Thatch decided to run ones with a man of war, all because he was after some medicine. When we finally catch up with him, we see he's fighting a big battle, and in the moment we kill all the troops on land, we start getting targeted by a mortar from a ship. But naval combat, when you get to use someone else's bigger ship, is always light work, and we managed to board the ship, kill the captain, and take their medicine. Unfortunately though, after Bonnet's last performance, Blackbeard cut him loose. But I really like the speech he gives right here, man. Really nice end to his character.
Seas, well above gold and silver and rum, I prize the courage you have inspired in me this year. Thank you, sir. A fair good morrow to you.
Look, I don't know what Blackbeard's doing right here. This guy's just on pure demon timing, bro. This guy took hostages as leverage to get medicine, and it is smart to be fair, but come on, bro. Kenway theorizes though that they probably have the medicine somewhere nearby just as a precaution in case Blackbeard starts murdering people. And so we have to follow this ship at really high speeds. During our chase though, somehow they find out that we're here, and then we get another one of them sick ass chase sequences, bro. Just look at this. A slow-mo jumping over a crocodile's mouth. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was panicking here and I was just pressing every button because I was confused. We managed to take a big steal of medicine right here. Unfortunately though, even though this is a huge win and we've got the medicine now, Thatch can't do it no more, bro. He's talking about he's old. No, you're not, bro. You're a young 40. But when we get back to Nassau, the king's men have appeared. Specifically Woods Rogers from the start of the game as well. We have to find out what their plan is, so we have to infiltrate the fort they've set up on Nassau. Pretty much we've been blocked in at Nassau, and the only way out is by accepting the king's pardon. However, the only one that seems on board with the idea of accepting the pardon is Hornigold. Obviously, Edward's not accepting that pardon either, so we scheme up with Vane to create a burning ship to send it through the blockade. But before we even get a chance to execute, we hear that Commodore Chamberlain has ordered every ship to be sunk in the dock. So before we can even destroy the blockade, we have to kill Commodore Chamberlain. Luckily, the Commodore be traveling light, and he don't have too many guards on him for some reason. Just before we set out to destroy the blockade, Vane loses his mind with Rackham and just smacks the hell out of him. Seeing the blockade get blown up here isn't quite as awesome as I expected to, but it's cool. Vane and Kenway actually set out to go and get Thatch back out of retirement. Unfortunately, he's not going for it though. He does tell us though that Roberts was seen on a ship called the Princess, which gives us a clue as to where he might be. Kenway spots a suspicious looking man though in the crowd. When we follow him though, we find out he's a spy, and the Spanish are plotting on Thatch. But before we can get back to tell him, they already start raining down fire on us. We managed to find Thatch back on our ship, and with his help we managed to board the enemy ship. Heartbreaking defeat, man. Thatch was such a W character, man. He was so cool. I don't even feel good about getting this achievement right here, bro. It's sad.
Blackbeard yet lives. He lives in the nightmares of governors. He lives in the fearful tales told by officers, and he lives in the heart of every pirate who wants only to be free. He will not be forgotten. Not now. Not ever.
Kenway with the W speeches, man. He's always got something good to say. While sailing around, I managed to capture one of every ship type for Kenway's fleet. I haven't yet explained what Kenway's fleet is, but I will do soon. I also boarded a lead convoy ship. I think they're just ships with like more loot on them, but they show up as events on the map. We link back up with Vane for help finding the Observatory and mainly the Princess. So we board this African ship to try and find information about the Princess, but it all goes wrong as Rackham pulls out guns on us. He leaves us and Vane stranded on the ship. We jump forward a little bit to see Edward hunting for food, and then this guy Vane just threatens him and steals it. When we try to catch up to Vane though, he shoots at us. This all just ends in a boss fight where we beat Vane's ass. I genuinely don't understand though what happened to Vane to make him try to like kill us. It's just so weird. But after this, Edward manages to make his way off the island. We then get a jump into the future where we get to see that Rackham has been caught. And it seems that Ade and Mary were the ones that did it. You can also hunt various creatures in the sea, and you get an achievement for throwing a perfect harpoon at this great white. Perfect harpoon is literally where you just hold the button and time it when it flashes. You also get a really stupid achievement for buying 3 drinks here, and then getting so drunk that you wake up in a haystack. When we return to the pirate hideout, we actually get a letter from none other than Bonnet. He tells us that unfortunately he's been caught and he's in jail, but he wants us to go check on his ship and his crew at another island. But when we arrive at his ship, some men try to pick a fight with us. Turns out those people are his crew, and they already know of us. They've been having issues with other pirates coming to steal Bonnet's loot, so because Bonnet's our boy, we gotta put the work on them, man. When we actually enter into Bonnet's boat, it's all dark and gloomy. I'm just gonna let the scene speak for itself.
Edward, I am to be hanged on the morrow. I imagined facing death like you, your swords drawn, full of gusto. Instead, I found myself begging and weeping at the governor's feet. I fear your advice was wasted on a constitution like mine. Perhaps I should have left pirating altogether, sailed home to my wife and children. But I'm not quite the same man who left them, am I? That was the gift you gave me. The courage to live free. And I'll muster that courage when the morning comes. The stories I promised will have to wait, Edward. But if, on your adventures, you should hear any tales of my sundry exploits and capers, then perhaps, in the end, I lived as I was meant to.
We kept the watch fast burning for the day he'd sail again. But the gallows claimed our captain, though the people sang his name.
The Major.
He is not. What's left of the ship and crew are yours now, Mr. Sharp.
Heartbreaking, man. That one's honestly probably the worst death in the game. I always knew he died from the original because there's actually guards that mention it. But the fact they did this whole like animation, the music, bro, it's too much, bro. I can't handle it. W Bonnet though, man. What a guy. We then have to go hang his portrait in our mansion. Edward's growth in this scene is also really cool, and I really enjoy his final line that he drops here. But straight back to another achievement. You get one for smoke bombing 5 enemies at once. I don't know if anyone else struggled with this Mayan puzzle, but I did, bro. This one was hell. For some reason it just would not work, and then it just randomly auto-corrected itself. Back to the main quest though, we see Rogers and Hornigold talking about what the blood samples are for, and they are planning on meeting Torres at the docks. Apparently though, they already know Roberts' location, which happens to be Principe, and they've already sent men out for it. Unfortunately though, Hornigold spots our ship and calls us out. Hornigold has completely sold us out and he's taken the pardon. So now that we know of Roberts' location, that's what we head out for. I got an achievement in Principe for hanging 10 enemies. Shortly after that though, we actually meet Roberts and he points a gun to our head. But we offer him help and say that we're willing to kill Burgess and Cockrum for him. Burgess and Cockrum are so free because they literally both walk underneath this tree and you can get a free double assassination on them. Roberts actually agrees to help us get to the observatory, but not before we help him with something, and he asks us to meet him on an island. After this, I managed to sink a pirate while at max wanted level. I actually obtained all 4 Templar keys and managed to get the armor right here. I will mention, I'm confused as to why there's not an achievement for this, it just seems so weird. I only had a few upgrades left in the Great Enagua to fully restore it, so I spent a little bit of gold just maxing it out real quick. You can get an achievement for performing 4 consecutive takedowns after doing 1 parry. The only thing that stops you doing this is having a weapon that's capable of doing enough takedowns. I did some aura farming and got an achievement for it right here too, and it also cleared out every fort in the map. This underwater wreck was also my final one in the game. and all I had to do was find all the chests to get the last achievement for it. Okay, here's where I'm going to try and explain Kenway's fleet for anyone in the future that does do this achievement. For one, start this way earlier in the game. I did, but I just didn't show it because this is where I can give the clearest explanation for it. The reason you even need to do this is because there's 21 different art pieces locked behind piracy missions in this. This is the easiest method, and the way it starts is that you firstly want to get 5 3-star brigs. The way you get higher tier brigs is by going to the southern parts of the map where it's harder. And the reason you want them is because they have higher HP, so you have to repair them less and they can do the harder missions. Let's assume you've already sent ships out on missions like I have here and they're all ready to collect. You want to create a manual save before collecting any of them. When you've done that, you are then free to collect the rewards. What you then want to do is check all the piracy missions, so all the skull missions. And the way that you'll know if it has the art or not is that it'll have an item with 1 reward. So right here on my screen you can see that there's 25, 25 and then 1. The art will always be 1 individual item. If right here you didn't get one, then what you'll do is you'll reload your save and do it all again. If you did though, and the reason you need 5 brigs is you want to send one to every single piracy location. This is the only way to force them all to change, I believe. But you pretty much just want to loop that. And it is best that you clear every fort on the map as well for full coverage. If you're solely after the achievement, then nothing else about Kenway's fleet matters. Ignore everything else. What I told you there is all you need. But back to the achievements, a couple quick ones I got right here was for fully customizing the Jackdaw and then also getting every single upgrade on it. To progress the story, we have to go meet up with Roberts. He wants to steal all the blood vials that the Templars were collecting, but we need to stealth our way through this, so we need to steal a Portuguese flag to cover our one. While I was climbing to the top to steal the flag, this happened.
What the... what? What was that?
I definitely got my fair share of interesting bugs while playing this game, but we managed to get the flag pretty easily, and then we make our way onto the land and then use that to get up onto the ship to kill this captain. We hijack the ship that has the blood vessels on it and then have to survive this naval onslaught. And finally, Roberts agrees to take us to the Observatory. On our way there though, it turns out we were followed by none other than Hornigold. We managed to force him ashore and then chase him up to these old ruins. And from there we kill a man who was supposed to be our friend. When we returned back to Roberts' ship, I got the achievement for visiting every location in the whole game. On our way to the Observatory, we find these like indigenous people, and it's so weird to me that you can't assassinate them, you have to knock them out. But then these guys just like, there's no explanation for it, like why it is that way. Eventually though, we find our way to something that looks suspiciously out of place. Roberts unseals the door, but then glicks down all of his crewmates. He claims that they can't handle it. I don't know about that one, bro. When we reach the actual device, it's actually insane what it can do. It straight up allows you to see through the eyes of other people. Such a thing should not exist, and this is why. Roberts turns on us and smacks us down into the water. When we manage to find our way out the building, Edward is finished.
What? Have I just like ascended? Oh, no one can hit me. Oh!
Yeah, after this, Robert just turned us into the Navy, bro. This guy's an op. We get a little time jump here and we see that not only is Kenway in prison, but both Anne and Mary have been caught too. Yo, these guys clutched up though, talking about some weird pregnant. And what is this guy's reaction, bro? What the devil did she say, bro? You heard her, bro. What are you talking about? We then get another time jump 4 months later and see that Kenway is now chained up. Thankfully, the assassins have come to save us. We immediately need to rush over though to the prison and check on Anne and Mary. We also see that Vane's here. And this seems a little bit sad too, because like, it's just weird what Vane did. I do believe Vane gets hanged in the end, but you don't see it.
Didn't hear what happened after, though. Best of luck to you, mate. I wish we'd parted as friends.
When we clear out the guards from in front of their cells, we hear from Anne that Mary is not doing well. It's another sad one, man. Kenway just keeps losing his friends, bro. Sometime later, we get awoken by Ade on the beach. He returns the Jackdaw to us, but announces that he's leaving the crew, and tells us that when we're ready to go seek the assassins out. I then headed back to Long Bay where the observatory is and shot down these 3 bodies for another achievement. Also collected all the Mayan stones to open this door. It unlocks the Mayan outfit for us, but doesn't net us an achievement or anything. When we returned to the assassins, we found out that they've been repeatedly attacked since we last left them. This is the kind of turning point in Edward's character where he stops doing stuff for just gold and instead does it for other people, as he's lost so many now. You can also now gain access to the final officer of the crew. You have to find him on this ship as he has been put in a box. This man becomes our master gunner, and then we get the achievement for recruiting all officers. The assassins give us the location of Woods Rogers, but he's at a function and we need a fit to blend in. So we kill this guy and steal it of him. We have to listen to his stupid ass speech, and then I made our way on top of the building and climbed through a tree and then murdered him. The next man we have to get is Roberts, and he's still on Principe. When he finds out we're coming for him, he flees and gets to his ship, and then does even more running. Eventually we board him and manage to execute him. We also get the skull from the Observatory from him. I actually managed to get the achievement for breaking 50 pots right here too. And then we have to make our way back there as Torres is currently there. And it's way different this time. There's beams of light literally eviscerating people. We then have to disable all these devices. And after we do, we can actually assassinate Torres. We return the skull here and then seal the observatory up. After this though, Edward gets the sad news that unfortunately his wife has died. And we get the achievement for stopping the Templar plot, basically just beating the game. We get this cool shot of all the people that we lost along the way. And then also get to reunite with our daughter. We then get to see Edward in the future, and he's a lot older now. This man right here is the guy that kills Edward in the future, by the way, and I believe he also turns Jennifer into a slave. And then Hatham right here, Edward's son, becomes a Templar, I believe, because of this guy. Yeah, this guy is at the root of all evil, bro. To now clean up the rest of the achievements, you're probably wondering why am I sat here. No, I did not leave this footage in by accident. I was genuinely sat here for like 40 minutes doing nothing. Why, you may ask? I needed a rogue wave to spawn. I still don't really know what the spawn condition is for them, but people on Reddit were saying to stay still in one place. I got so bored of waiting that I went and fought one of the legendary ships. There's 4 of these in the whole game and there's nothing really unique to this one, but I will say I almost lost to this. It's pretty hard. Why am I showing you the start of the game again? Because I started the game again. If you guys remember, when we first get on Kenway's ship, I made mention that a rogue wave had spawned. It's actually a guaranteed spawn here, and I highly recommend to anyone doing these achievements in the future to get this one done at the very start of the game. New Game Plus is currently not a thing, so the only thing I could do was start the game again. But you just get the achievement for just getting hit by the rogue wave and surviving. I also restored a map from pieces. I'm not really sure when I got them, but I did. And now I'm annoyed because I got a rogue wave natural spawn after wasting 40 minutes playing the game again. Okay, so here's more tech for any of you to play this game in the future. There's an achievement for taking a seat on a burning ship. If you make a save on any island in the game, and then fast travel to the Black Trench, you are guaranteed to get a burning ship. 100% of the time you will get one. From there, it's just pure RNG whether or not it has a chair and a table on it. If it does, great, you get the achievement. If not, just reload the save, warp over again. It took me maybe like 15-20 attempts to get one, which isn't terrible. I then went and did the remaining 3 legendary ships. The first one I did was the ghost ship, and the way it comes out of the smoke here is so sick. The gimmick for this one is you kind of get stuck circling each other and get into this long-ranged fight. And then when you knock off a third of his HP, it retreats and starts firing mortars, and you just need to wait this phase out. I cut this one pretty close, but it's not as close as some of the other ones. All my Souls players will understand what I'm about to complain about, bro. No one likes 2v1 fights. What are the worst thing in Souls games? When the bosses can heal and when it's a 2v1, bro. It sucks. So I believe the gimmick for this one is when you take off a third of their HP, they start retreating and laying mines, and then they come back through the mines. I think you're supposed to shoot the mines to deal damage, but it just didn't work for me that well. I just kind of brute forced it, and then when the last one's alive, it becomes super aggressive and starts ramming you. And I'm honestly not sure how I didn't sink here. Like, I had 0 HP pretty much. The final one basically has a handbrake installed. Like, this guy will be going one way and just completely cut the other way to ram you. And then it will also launch these big fire volleys, but if you just like get out the way, it doesn't move to adjust to where you are. Still though, these are really hard. You then need to win all 3 board games. The first game is Checkers. I don't need to explain this one. Checkers is free. The second one is 9 Men Morris. This one's actually pretty good and I've never played it before. You basically need to create lines of 3, and when you do that, you can take one of the opponent's pieces. There is some strategy to the way you place your pieces at the start of the game. I thought taking the center was the best move, but I literally immediately lost the game. Managed to beat the guy in the second one though. Okay, this game, Fanarona, though, is buns. So when you move your piece towards or away from the opponent, you can then take their line of pieces. And then sometimes you can even like chain the takes and take multiple different ways. I really don't understand if you can't tell. I did manage to get lucky and beat it. I did not use an engine. I'm seeing some people saying they like cheated their way through it. I'm not doing that, bro. I'm winning it legit. I fed this parrot to get an achievement for interacting with all the friendly animals in the game. And then I actually had to go back down underwater using the diving bell to the Black Trench. This is because you need to swim to the lowest point in the game, and it's in here where you can do it. And then you can get a stupid ass achievement for shooting an enemy with a berserk dart, then smoke bombing him, and then kicking him off the ship. This one is beyond scuffed, but I managed to get it done. I needed to collect these 2 remaining character portraits for the achievement, and then to actually get the remaining 2 achievements in the game, it's not enough just to collect the art pieces, you actually have to place them all. So I then had to do the most tedious thing of placing all these things down one by one. I placed down the last portraits for that achievement, and then I got stuck. I was pretty confident I had placed everything down, right? And I actually have placed everything down. And what I missed was actually on screen there for a second. Did you see it? This outfit stand actually counts. You need to fill this, and when I did, I got the achievement. And that's my 100% done for Black Flag. It only took me 40 hours, which from what I'm seeing is pretty quick to be fair. Obviously, I have played the game before though. As a remake, this game is literally immaculate. I'd recommend this to literally anyone. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.